Okay. Three, two. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Greg Hectus.
What up, everybody?
Welcome, Brad Wren.
Hello, everyone.
It's David Hall.
We can turn right as well.
How do you clean your fuzzy seat after you've sweat on it, is what I'm wondering. William Westbrook.
Um, okay. Hello, everybody.
On today's show, the 2026 Season 2 development blog is out. Find out the truth about upgrades. Why is the SimiCube 3 so complicated? See why sim racing is so hard. Can a high I rating impress the ladies? Which retired NASCAR driver reached out for 3D printer help? And why in the world is everyone talking about Smurfs?
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
We're going to open up with an Instagram video featuring sim racing van life. And this guy has got a fully decked out living in his van type situation. I don't know if he's just mobile or if that's all he lives in, but he's got the bare necessities taken care of. He's got the passenger seat turned around, got a single monitor setup with it looks like a Fanatec wheel.
Actually, I think it's PXN. That's what it looks like to me. He's got two bases. He's got one sitting in the chair and he's got one on the rig.
Yeah, Moza H pattern shifter, a handbrake, a sequential shifter. But yeah, single screen. Just a nice little setup. It looks like it doesn't block the side door to get into the van. You've got a pretty lean and mean setup going here.
So if he's got a passenger, do they basically just have to ride backwards?
Well, they get to race.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you could race and drive as long as you got a good signal, I guess.
Do you imagine if a cop pulls him over and then he's just like, "Hey, can I try it out?"
So look, I'm going to tell you guys something. When you become 55 years old, you start thinking, am I going to retire at 62? Man, that's not too long from now. And you start thinking, what am I going to do when I retire? Oh, I'm going to travel. I'm going to get an RV. I'm going to get a van. But then I won't be able to iRace. But then when I see this, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can travel and do my iRacing at the same time.
Mike, I don't think they make a van wide enough for you to get your monitors in there.
A dining room. Can you bring your dining room on wheels?
You'll have to have one of those pilot cars that travel with the wide loads everywhere.
I remember I used to do this with a laptop. I couldn't really race iRacing, but I used to be able to race like practice and stuff when I was out doing long haul, and I would just use some Wi-Fi connections or whatever just to practice, but it wasn't the greatest. But I guess Wi-Fi and signals are a lot better nowadays from 10 years ago.
I can definitely speak to this next item we have, sim racing injury. I've had a similar incident, but this one, did the guy actually get hit in the head?
In the face.
Yeah.
Well, look, he was parked after the race is over, obviously. He hasn't exited the cockpit. He's pulling his gloves off. He leans forward like he's about to, sit up out of the chair, and that brings his head forward to where the wheel, in proximity of the Formula wheel. And then suddenly some car from behind plows into him and sends him airborne.
And people do this in league races a lot when the race is over because they're not worried about the excess counting against them or anything. Justin did this to me in one of the first league races, and if my hand had been a couple of inches in a different place, he could have probably broken my hand.
Didn't we have a couple back like a year ago or 2 years ago that a guy broke his hand after a race because of this because he had his hand on it?
It can
I've
happen.
sprained a finger before. I didn't break it, but I've sprained it. Now, look, so what is the lesson learned for every iRacer? Get out of the car before you take your gloves off. Don't, exit the cockpit immediately when the checker is over because this is a real thing. It happens.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead,
On
Brad.
well, I was gonna say on the oval side, 9 times out of 10, I'll just drive back to the pits. But on the road side, I'm typically getting off the main straight. I'm gonna at least get through turn one, pull off to a spot where no one's around me. But yes, as soon as I hit that, I'm out of the car immediately.
It's funny how this has become a problem where it never used to be a problem before direct drives, too, right?
In my hosted races that I participate in frequently, it's common that they actually do demo derby after the race is over. And so you almost have to expect to be hit. And so if you don't want to, you need to exit the car quick.
I want an update the day after and see what his cheek or wherever it hit him looks like.
This was Brendan Hyperstar, so I'm sure he's probably got something posted relatively.
Because the other thing too is I'm guessing I don't know what kind of seat he has. He would look like he was trying to reach down and pull his seat back. See, I like the one I have. I just put my foot on it and I can push myself back, so I don't ever have to lean forward.
Oh yeah, see, I would lean forward to reach down and grab the little seat mover lever, and I could see myself putting my face near it.
All right, next item, Brad. We have a PRS announcement.
Yep. So Premier Racing Setups had a Instagram post. So talking about their eNASCAR Factory Pass is here. So ever want to be part of a top eNASCAR team but felt like you didn't quite meet the requirements yet? This is your shot. We're officially offering an eNASCAR Factory Pass. This is a huge opportunity. So this pass is built for drivers who know they're ready for more. Maybe you don't have all the big wins yet. Maybe you don't have the connections, but you've got the drive. This is for you. So what you'll get with the pass is you'll work directly around experienced builders and drivers. You're going to get real feedback to improve every week. You'll be in a competitive environment that pushes you harder, get your foot in the door with a top level team as well. So, look, Premier continues to offer more things for the community and for subscribers. I've noticed even more this year how many cars I'm seeing in NIS or A Opens that are they're using Premier setups with logos on cars and stuff like that. So look, they're stacking wins up every single week. As we've said before, we've been super happy with them. Right off the bat this year. I mean, I think I talked last week. What do we end up with? What, a couple wins out of Daytona and I think 1 or 2 wins out of Atlanta. So, and we're a small team, so good stuff. You need to check them out.
So I think this is in direct answer or response to Mike Conti and his what was it, $5,000 to join his eNASCAR team, and I think this is kind of the same thing, and I wonder if it's 5,000. And but look, this is a new stream of revenue for these companies, for these setup companies. Is hey, let's just recruit a driver that has a bunch of cash that wants to rate, and we'll just let him race with us. We'll just put him on the team, kind of thing. And look, if you only get one or even two or three of them, man, you guys are making bank.
So the cost for this is 225 every 3 months. So 225 a
Ooh,
quarter.
that's not
Not
$225.
dollars.
Good
Yep,
5 grand.
that's not bad compared to.
Not bad compared to 5,000. Yeah. Look, if you think you got what it takes to get to the Coke Series, and you're real, and you think you can make the I rating to go with it, this would be a good opportunity.
All right, Mike. This next one we don't really have to generate a summary because this guy has a really nice bullet point style forum post where we can just read them down. You want to start us off?
Yeah, and it's funny when you read the forums these days, you can kind of tell which ones are written by AI and which ones aren't. And this one might be one of those. But anyway, lack of communication from iRacing to the community. Karel Barachenko list out 5 key ones. Dev blog update. Well, look, we just got it today. I mean, it was delayed, and um, that kind of thing. And I don't know. People expect it at a certain point before the release, and then it doesn't get out at that point. I just think he wants communication.
So let's roll back some time into the iRacing sphere here. We never got these. You didn't know what you got until build week. It was like, poof, here's what you got.
Surprise.
And we didn't get a whole lot either back then.
That's a good point. I mean, this is way better than it used to be because you get a long form communication with a lot of detail.
Yeah, this is not one of the bigger problems, and it definitely shouldn't be number one on the list.
So he wants to hear what happened to the Spa 24 infamous split 22 with the guys with over 500 incident points or something. Like, feedback, like, tell us what happened. This team got banned, this and that. We try to drive good driving standards, blah blah blah. He wants something like that. I don't know if I need that or not.
They've never given out that information in their years ever. Like
Right.
I remember the most, like, when Scott Speed that did that thing. That was like the most time I think they've ever come out and actually said, we're taking this guy out for a while and stuff like that. But other than that, they don't normally comment on what they do to people, incident wise.
And he wants more commentary on smurfing, which we're going to talk about in detail some more. But like in the 12-hour at Bathurst, some teams got DQ'd for smurfing and others didn't. And he's wondering, okay, where's the line? How does this work? Blah blah blah. More communication.
Number four, he's just maybe uninformed because first of all, every forum post has an indication, but I guess he doesn't know why. If it's a 6-hour event or less, they can have 5 start times instead of 4 start times. Because he's asking why do some special events get 4 and some get 5, and then also NIS, those special events are on the NIS schedule instead of the standard schedule. So, I mean, most of our guys know that, but he apparently doesn't. What was the last one, Will?
iRacing for Linux. There are multiple threads on the forums requesting, I guess, a client or a fix to allow it to run on Linux.
Why?
I don't know.
Don't we all have software for our wheels and our software for our pedals? And I mean, don't those need Windows?
I want to race it on my PlayStation. I want to run all the third parties. Can't we do that too? Can we just keep putting it on where we want to?
You pay for iRacing. You don't, just because you pay their subscription doesn't mean you get to order them to build it for an entirely new platform.
Well,
I don't know.
Here's the example. That's a great way to put it, though, Wes. Or William, it's if you go and if you're a person that's buying like Halo or something like that, if you're in a console generation, you don't go, hey, I want my Halo game to be on my PlayStation. It's a Microsoft, thing. It's, you don't demand them to put it on something else. You can ask for it. Doesn't mean you can demand for it.
How would anti-cheat work on Linux? There's so many things wrong with this, the whole idea of it. I mean, because of all the third-party stuff we got to run, because you got software drivers for everything that we buy it for hardware. You got stuff like anti-cheat, which is a third-party company.
So what are we going to do? Are we asking iRacing to cater to probably 0.5% of the user base?
No, it's just stupid. Just stay on Windows.
Yeah, Linux is basically a small cult of open source guys who just want to go against Windows.
I think you summed it up with cult.
All right, so the blog is out. You want to kick it off, Greg?
Sure, put this on me, hey? it's actually a pretty decent blog here. I was telling Brad when I woke up this morning, I was like, we haven't heard anything about certain things in a while, and all of a sudden this popped up today. But so they first kick off the blog with going over the special event recap. So they talked about the 24 hours of Daytona having 104 total splits and 3.5 million laps complete with 6,000 people registered. I think it's kind of cool to see the data transmission here of 26 terabytes of data transmitted. That's kind of cool. But anyways, then they get into some other stuff that's more important for what's coming up here. So they got St. Petersburg. They're showing the St. Petersburg scan, which is going to be really nice. It's a little late for the St. Peter. I was telling Brad it's kind of odd that it's late for when they're going to run it, but it's at least nice that we're going to get it. The pictures and stuff are really nice for that. What else have we got here? They're talking about what other
Barber.
Barber's getting an update, which that one will be just in time for the IndyCar race and some of the other stuff. Barber's a really nice track, but the visuals will be nice. The changes that they have for that.
I think there's some discussion too, Greg, about around Barber. They're not going to have an old version of Barber. You know, this always comes up when they, update a track. Like, are they going to keep the old version or not?
Scroll down.
Yeah, we'll cover that a little bit more later.
So you got art refreshes for Linear, Langley, and USA International Speedway, which is good. There's some of the older ovals on the track. I did some targeted upgrades, visual quality improvements for Long Beach, Sebring, and then they've added the 3D curbs to the Red Bull Ring as well. So as Greg mentioned, the new cars. So going to get the truck, the Ram truck debuts. We've already gotten the new next gen Chevrolet Camaro, and then the TCR class. I'm going to get the Audi RS3 LMS Gen 2. So this will replace the current one, which will then move towards a legacy. And then along with the TCR classes, they're getting a full overhaul, all cars, which is good. Which is kind of, I think it's, Will and I were messaging back and forth on the Discord. This is kind of a cleanup, I think, is the way to look at it as far as an update goes. They're spending some time, I think, spending some time on some series that probably haven't had a lot of love in the past, which are still very popular series, and that's good to see. So it's not just all new bells and whistles. Sometimes you got to go back and clean up things.
I haven't paid much of attention to the TCR cars. Is it do they have a lot of participation in those series?
No, I don't think so, but
It's a fair amount. Yeah, it's a fair amount. I mean,
I think you'll get a couple splits every time slot. I don't think it's like IMSA or rookie Mazda, but I think it's decently healthy.
It's also running a lot of multi-class series, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
including Nürburgring, I think the multi-class version.
So the other thing is they redid the old IMSA, the Audi G90, which is one of my favorite cars now. And what was the other one? But they redid the physics on those cars, and then they redid the physics on the Lotus 49, and which is interesting. One of the oldest cars in sim racing altogether, and they finally got it updated.
They actually did some work on the GTE cars too. I would love to see those come back.
I miss those old cars. The GTE class was a fun class until it went to the GT3s.
All the Cup cars got full updates to the 2026 spec, basically, is what they said, which is good.
Updated the NASCAR O'Reilly physics as well. More updates for the Dallara IR18 IndyCar. So they've updated the short track and Indianapolis packages. As we said, continue oval refresh. So they continue to work on the track surface behavior. So especially regarding rubber buildup, so which is good because I think it's much needed. Um, and then continuing to work on AI, working through. So I guess quality of life breakthrough simulated race results. So simulated finishes, you no longer lose your race data if you leave early. So you can skip qualifying and then I guess adjust the driver behavior has been adjusted to where it's more human-like. But more updates for the Sim UI. Looks like we're gonna get some more widgets in here. Some of the stuff that you can get right now, with a lot of your third-party stuff. So you can actually get a brake trace and throttle trace widget, and then some, I guess, rules.
One you missed I want to throw out I thought was exciting. Dirt AI is coming in season 3. But Dirt AI, I kind of look. I suck at running dirt, and I always lose when I go run dirt races on oval. And I've always wanted to have AI to run and try to work through my problems before I really go out and race people. So kind of looking forward to that one.
Are you going to use the Dirt UI or AI as practice, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. I use AI racing quite a bit for practice. Like I tried to do Coda practice running AI Tuesday night.
Did it simulate the guys from the back trying to make it to the front in the first lap?
No. It looks like they're on a rail.
Then the AI wasn't accurate then.
That's the problem with iRacing's AI is it looks like they're on a rail. It really does.
Actually, the one thing I want, well, sorry, before we keep going there, when you were talking there, Brad, the oval refresh with the rubber buildup, do you think that has to do with they've started doing that more too now because NASCAR's gone to a softer tire and some of these tracks they actually are getting more buildup on the track because we're not getting, we never had to deal with like the marbles like they used to back in the day until they've started doing that now at some of the shorter tracks, right?
Well, the last update was supposed to
Broke it, right?
address how once the rubber was laid down in the heat, you could actually, as that rubber would heat up, would get, the car would lose grip. You'd have to move up to go find more grip. And then when it would cool down, you can move back down. The issue we have nowadays with the cup tires, most of it, they don't marble. It's more like dust. You used to get marbles off that. You got chunks of rubber. I mean, I can remember going to Richmond and sitting on the backstretch and get hit in the head with chunks of rubber when they come by, which we just don't get with the new car. And the new tire now, it's like dust. You do get some marbling, but it's more like dust. But look, anything that they can do to force us out of a stagnant line, and that's the one thing that you got to be able to search. And we've seen that over this last build, I think, in different tracks. You've had to adjust your line.
Okay, Spark graphics engine. So the new graphics engine has a name. It's called Spark. I thought that was kind of cool. So maybe we need a title idea with the word Spark. And then career mode. This is exciting. Now in full end-to-end game loop testing, it is designed to be foundational feature that expands over future seasons. Look, I watched a couple videos today from Get Good Racing and Nick Nebon, who reviewed this same development blog that we're reviewing. And Get Good Racing was very excited about the career mode because he's saying like all the people on a set of Corsa, that's why they're over there doing career mode. And if iRacing had a career mode that was actually full featured and robust, he thinks we're gonna totally take on the single player sims like Assetto Corsa and others.
Absolutely worthless in my mind.
Yeah, not my
It's a
thing, but
priority.
yeah, not my thing. But I'm happy for the people who actually want this. Sounds like it's coming soon.
I think
Well, we're all happy for Donnie.
I think it's just more of a broadening another feature to like Mike saying is try and bring in a different maybe
Bring
you
in a
get
different
somebody,
audience.
you bring in a different audience, but maybe you get them addicted to wanting they want to race a career and do something. I don't always want to come home and get on and race other people. Some nights I want to I'll play something else instead. If I because iRacing is mostly is all multiplayer based and you're racing against somebody. But um, I'll play NASCAR 25 if I want to do the career or something like that. So maybe they're just trying to do this type of thing to bring them in, and maybe you can hook them to do after they're done that. They can they'll want to go and do other stuff.
So as far as stuff that didn't happen this time, the audio. So again, the last quarter they shared that they were on the cusp of delivering spatial reverb. That didn't happen, however. So I guess they ran into some other stuff that made them put it on a momentary hold. But they did say that on a positive note, the extra development times allowed them to optimize the core audio engine. So again, like Will and I we're talking, that's kind of the one things that I guess maybe wishful thinking, but it definitely sounded like it was going to hit in season 2.
So here's something I want to pick some of you guys' brains about. What comes first, the spark engine, or they fix the smurfing problem?
They won't fix the smurfing problem because that would cost them money.
That's revenue, yeah. Well, here's the part about the Barber Motorsports retirement. There's an extra post referring to this, but retirement. But Nick Nebon on his video, he lamented a little bit about this whole process of retiring legacy tracks. Like iRacing is the only one who's got a scan of it. Like he wants to restore it, for historical reasons, kind of thing. He does understand, oh, they got to maintain it, they got to put work on it, it costs hours, that kind of thing. And there's got to be a balance, but I think it's still a discussion. Like all the short courses at Barber are going to be no longer, apparently.
Now, if you read you read the blog, they say they're doing it because they want to make sure that every series that's racing on it is on the most up to date version of the track. So it sounds like to me, is that a thing that they're agreeing with Barber Motorsports Park, that they want, they don't want people being on the old track. They want to kind of advertise it as the new track, and it just keep. I know that you don't want to keep maintaining it, but I think it just you want to be in the present. You don't want to be living some of these old tracks. But I guess we have classic series that run old tracks.
It's simply a matter of resources. If they have so many old tracks now that it was starting to cost them too much to run the old resources. It has nothing to do with Barber Motorsports track staff.
But you look long term, like, future, what are they going to be doing 10 years from now, that kind of thing. They're going to have every track by then, and then maybe there's a market for historical racing, like the vintage IMSA cars they just updated. Let's run vintage IMSA on vintage Sebring, vintage, Lime Rock, vintage blah blah blah, etc. And there's a whole schedule of vintage tracks for those cars.
I got 2 words for you to debunk that. Gen 4.
Well, not only that, I mean, they made it clear earlier why, 3 seasons ago, why they're not keeping these tracks updated is because it takes away resources. Anytime there's an update to some of the engine, they'd have to go back and update these legacy tracks that just aren't being used. It's just scarcity of resources.
And the old cars are niche, but then they never have the following of the new cars. All right, Brad, Jordan Worth has some dating advice.
Yeah, so we had a ex post here from Jordan Worth. He says, went on a date yesterday and tried to show her my nearly 7,000 oval iRating, but my profile on the official iRacing app is still disabled. Now she thinks my iRating is under 2K and she won't return my calls. Please, iRacing, help me. My profile has been disabled for 8 years now. So, yeah, interesting. I'm not sure why his profile is disabled on the app. Mine works fine, but Jordan having a little bit of fun poking at iRacing.
You got to wonder what he did 8 years ago, though.
He brought her home and then she wouldn't call afterwards.
All right, I'm gonna serenade you before we get on the next one. La 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 la.
I love
As
this
Brad
image.
as Brad reaches for his head, his earphones to yank them out. So we got a post from Basic Ollie and a bunch of other people, and it's really starting to snowball now. Uh, no, no pun intended for the guys dealing with the storms up north. That this is becoming a real problem, especially in special events.
All right, so before we get into this, why don't someone want to explain to listeners, just in case they don't understand what a Smurf is?
It's the
I
Probably.
second.
have an
It's a
account.
second account. Yeah.
I'll go. So I have an account, and I'm a 7,000 iRating oval, and I run in the Coke series. And I want to run super late models, and I don't want to mess up my 7,000 iRating and mess up my Coke series and mess up my points for that. So I buy a second account. I have a first account, Mike Ellis. I buy another account that says Mike Ellis 2. So then I'm running a Smurf account, Mike Ellis 2, that starts over on iRating. I'm in bottom splits because I have a low iRating, even though I'm a 7,000 oval guy, and I take every win. That's what a Smurf is. So reading on to what Basic Ollie wants to say, so we'll start with him. He says Smurfs are completely out of hand. I was in split 5K SOF, so a good split. And we had a former Team Redline driver smurfing on a 4.6K account. So what he's saying is there was a 9,000 guy, road guy in here, but he came in on his second account that was only 4.6. Now he says why Smurf accounts aren't against the rules, using one in a special event is the lowest of the low. I've had so many messages from people in different splits suffering from the same thing. I want people to know you can report them for unsportsmanlike conduct and get them a DQ from the result, but that's that. Someone in our split finished P2 and deserved to cross the finish line as winners, but they got beaten by a former Team Redline driver.
I think they need to either limit it to one account or link it to where you your Smurf account uh, it can't be factored in when your split is decided, or just require that special events have no Smurf account. Right now, this just kind of letting it be done sort of on the protest system, and we don't know who gets DQ'd and who doesn't. It's ambiguous, and it's still going to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's uh, mouth.
And Jardiere went on to say, why do you really need a Smurf account as a pro driver? I totally agree should not be allowed. Why a split one professional driver should be allowed to drive on a different account in split 5 is beyond me. Is this some ego farming, or why is this even happening? How about a title idea, ego farming?
Yeah, we talked about this in length in our private chat we got, and I mean, not everybody agrees with us, but I think David's right. Just make it to where your accounts have to be linked. If you're not going to outlaw smart accounts, which you know what, I don't care if a pro wants to protect his pro license account and run on another one, as long as he's not artificially keeping the second account high level down, whatever. But make the accounts linked, and when split IR is determined, just determine it by their main account. And if you try to get around that, insta ban them. But iRacing is probably not going to do that because of money, right? But it seems like a simple solution to me.
I think the simple solution is nobody cares about this. Well, maybe they do on the hourly races. The concern is the special events. So I think iRacing should program it where if it's a special event and you have 2 accounts, it will only let you race on the highest iRating account.
Yeah, that's one of the things I suggested.
My question is how is this anything different than real life though? What's the difference from Kyle Larson going from the Cup Series or Kyle Busch and them running a Truck Series? It's kind of the same type of thing.
But it's still Kyle Busch 1. It's the same driver, right?
I just
And you're talking about 3 professional series there.
Oh, I know. I'm
Or
not
not
trying. I'm not trying to really compare iRacing to professional. I'm just trying to
But
say it's you're.
so just stop. Let's roll back 6 or 7 years ago, and the outcry for Kyle Busch being a bushwhacker, and all the guys would go in every Saturday and do nothing but beat up the Bush guys. From the viewers, it was horrible. It was
Now
absolutely horrible.
they can only race in like 5 races, right? Or
Correct.
they have to declare their points one. Yeah, I don't remember what solution they came up with. Yeah, there's restrictions.
Yeah, but I mean that was the result, and that was smurfing in the real world. I mean, let's think about it. Kyle Busch. I mean, look, he did it this past week. I mean, that's Kyle Busch is going to go down and run a truck race. Who are you going to put your money on? Kyle Busch is going to win the race if he doesn't get wrecked. It's just the way it is. He's that good. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the issue is, I think, when you get into the game and to doing this, is there's certain levels of people. And again, if you're in the truck series, guess what? You've either paid to be there or you've earned your way there. If I'm running in a 5K split, I expect to race with racers that are similar iRating and skill level as me. That's the entire basis of iRacing. This is no different than the conversation we had last week about the NIS and about iRating for NIS. When I start in February, my expectation is I'm going to be racing against guys that are starting at the same level that I am. If through the course of the year they go up dramatically, good for them. But we've all started at the same spot. When we log into to run the Daytona 24 hours and we're in a 3K split, my expectation is I'm going to race people of like skill, not someone who's normally a seven or an $8,000 I rating driver who's just using another account. There's nothing enjoyable about that, and it diminishes the entire chance that other teams have to have a competitive race. You know, Greg, what happened with us last night at Top Split in NIS? We got freaking spanked, and that's okay. We knew going into it we were going to get spanked, but that's the problem with it is, especially with special events, with such a huge turnout, that's the one opportunity you have to somewhat race with people that should be fairly even to your I rating and to your skill set.
And that's supposed to be the number one selling point of iRacing over other services. In the national series in real life, their goal and their mission statement is not try to get you racing people that you should be racing. Their goal is to basically put the best people in there. All right. That's not about finding good pickup racing online. The whole selling point is get you in racing people you're supposed to. So just like Brad said, it is simply morally reprehensible, really, for these guys that are at 9,000 to be using a second account to run in a 3K split or 4K split.
He got DQ'd, so good for him. There's a lot of content that Brad has found about this as we scroll down, guys. There's a video here from Yuri Kastorp. His conclusion was Yuri believes iRacing is at a crossroads where smurfing is becoming a systematic problem that devalues official races. He calls for iRacing to take a definitive stance to restore accountability and respect on the track.
Some guys got DQ'd though, and some guys didn't. And it's just like a lot of the other things that happen with the protest system, where there's not really consistency, right? Where you can spend a week off for peeing, but not get suspended for wrecking somebody 3 times in a year on purpose.
I think David's on a record of bringing that up on every podcast for like
Everyone, man. I'm just
4
going to
years
record.
now.
I'm going to record a stint. I haven't brought this up for 4 years because it happened this year. It happened like since New Year's.
I don't know. Look, we talk about if tanking is illegal, which it goes against the sporting code, intentionally dropping your I rating in order to put yourself into a lower strength of field race in order for you to be competitive. To me, I see no difference in that when it comes to smurfing. It's the same thing. You're just using a separate account to do it. To me, there's no difference at all.
You're just racing in a split you shouldn't be in, basically. Right?
Exactly. Yes, you're artificially putting yourself in a lower split yeah, that it's. I don't see a difference. I really don't. I mean, I've got a link to the forum post here that's probably about. I mean, when I put it in here, it was 9 pages. It's probably 12 or 13 now. But I mean, it's just it's the same repetitive thing. I mean, it's there's people that defend it. There's people that say, hey, it needs to stop. But at the end of the day, iRacing's making money off of it, and that's what frustrates me. I'm not against them making money. It's just
So check this out. So the next story is Trosma on Reddit says SimDeck 1.113.0 is out. We have a new community tagging system called Smurf detection. And basically, it's a community verified driver tagging system. You basically go into the software, you search the account, the driver's name, you add a private tag to that driver that only you can see it. Now, if multiple users tag the same driver as a Smurf, it becomes public, and he's known as a Smurf.
No, 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 no. That's gonna get into a bad territory.
Well, then iRacing needs to do something about it, because people are starting to self police about it. All right. What we're in here now is basically iRacing's been on this huge growth curve, and they've been doing all these moves to bring in a lot of new business, and in the process, some hardcore fans are starting to get left behind. And NASCAR did the same thing and started to see a real loss. So if they don't wake up, this is going to start to hurt them.
I'll take this one, David. We got a video from Why Sim Racing is Hard, and I really like this one from Formula Futs, a new channel I found. And it's not about the driving, and he talks about the mental or psychological trap of sim racing, the struggle, the expectations, the almost half committing to a move that could have got you the spot, those kind of things. Um, he talks about emotional momentum, the negative experiences can snowball, and we've seen this during an NIS season. David, we've seen you crash out emotionally in the middle of an NIS season. It happens. He talks about how do you turn it the other way. Key advice for enjoyment: um, stop forcing it. A moment driver stops forcing the pace is often when your lap times improve. Calm down. Focus on the fun. Don't obsess over the ratings and the spreadsheets and the incidents and all that.
He's on the right track, but he's clearly a road racer and doesn't know about the frustrations of driving an NIS, where most of the time you're getting wrecked out, not because you're forcing it, but because other people are forcing it.
Oh, that happens on the roadside too. I mean, they're just as guilty as oval guys. It doesn't happen quite probably as often just because of the nature of oval racing with cautions and all that. But there's just as many yahoos on the roadside.
All right, the next one could almost be nicknamed Boomerang, except he only really went one direction. But boy, this car had some really nice spin on it, didn't it, William?
Yeah, this is a Twitter post, but I think I originally saw it on Reddit. It looks like Daytona, or yeah, Daytona. They're in the trucks, and oh god, sorry if you could hear that. I played the video and it was loud in my ears. Yeah, trucks are going down. One guy goes kind of down or gets forced down. There's a wreck, and they hit what's obviously a glitch, and this truck goes to the moon. It does about 600 spins and just launches itself. Like I said, I think I originally saw this on Reddit, and I believe the person who submitted it said it had been sent to iRacing for a bug, but it was pretty funny.
I wonder if it picked up the curbing at Daytona Road somehow in the code there, because it's close to where it would be, right?
I don't. It seems to just be right in the middle of the track. The curbing is never taken away. That's in the bus stop.
Oh, that's true, isn't it? It's still there.
But I see there's a flaw in the physics because if you're spinning that much, you should be curving, and he stayed straight. All right, so they need to
Well,
get with the golf. They need to get with the golf sim guys and get that
the,
sorted.
the other flaw with the physics is the car goes pretty much straight up, and then it goes sideways for a very long time, and then it goes down. It's kind of odd.
Are you guys disappointed iRacing hasn't fixed this physics where it goes proper ways? Like, do you want them to put some resources into this?
Yeah, it's not a proper curve.
Bronies.
Or
Look, gravity is gravity, man. It should be pretty simple.
Well, if it was gravity's gravity, it shouldn't have happened to begin with.
all right, this one is a quick hit that me and Tom experienced. Bathurst 12-hour server issues. The Sunday main time zone split did not spin up very fast. I think it started about 20 minutes late. There's a couple posts, including one explaining what was happening, but it did get going finally. And this was a case where I'll have to give the guys kudos where they did get the communication out pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure I made a post on the forums, and somebody linked to this post all where Nick Bailey had responded already, and so they got on the ball on this one. So it was a little bit of a delay, but the communication was open in this case.
So was this when it went from practice to actually load into the race?
Yeah, it just took the races forever to spin up the servers. In fact, when I disconnected to go to the right, well, what first thing that happened is it never popped up. If you're in a practice and it says your qualifying has begun, that message never popped up. So I closed iRacing, and normally when you close iRacing manually, the UI knows that you've closed it pretty quickly, and you can either rejoin or re-register or something. And it sat for about 10 minutes and wouldn't let me rejoin anything. It thought I was still connected to the server. Then when that finally cleared up and I rejoined, it just put me right back in the practice server.
I mean, that used to happen years ago when they first started doing this stuff. I mean, it was painful. Greg probably can remember trying to, it was painful trying to load into a Daytona 2.4 hours or something.
2.4 was probably the worst when they first started getting. It would crash the system and nobody could even do any racing. It wasn't just the 2.4. It was taking a lot of stuff out. People don't realize that iRacing has come a very long way to be able to support the infrastructure of things that we get to do every day on here and do it without problems for the most part.
I didn't think about how laggy a Desert Combat server gets when there's 60 pilots in there. It goes nuts. All right, Mike, what is this team chatter?
Yeah, so we have a post here from Coanda Esports as they ran the 12 hours of Bathurst. They talk about the mental starts to fade after a couple hours, and they kind of uh, give us a little insight into their voice chat. And we got one of the drivers actually singing and so forth, and a little off-topic discussions, obviously. I mean, what happens in our chat, guys, in the wee hours of the night during the 24-hour race? Do we ever get off topic? Do you ever hear anyone start singing? I know David has done poetry before.
That's not during 24-hour races when somebody's actually driving, though. That's been at Martinsville races when we're just pacing the whole time.
See, I like. Sorry, I'm gonna. My headset has. I can run Bluetooth through it at the same time as iRacing is playing off of the plug-in 2.4 chip that goes into the USB port, so I can kind of put any audio in the background. So in the 24-hour races, I usually put like music on while I'm listening to separate it from, and then I don't have to worry. That's what I do to try and keep myself going.
I always have either music or a podcast playing through Bluetooth.
I mean, I think back to the Daytona 24. William, there's four of us on there. Usually at least one person in with whoever's driving, and we were just
Yep.
talking. I mean, just kind of chatting, letting them know what's going on. But we had a lot of good discussion. I mean, it's anything to kind of keep your mind off what you're doing.
The thing that gets me is when you're that period where some guys are trying to get sleep and you're kind of the only driver on Discord, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and you're focused, and then they say something, hey, what's up, and it's like, holy crap, there's still people here that can talk to me at some point.
So we try to keep when we race, we try to keep at least 2 people on Discord at all times because it sucks to be the only person online at 3 in the morning. But no, you're right. Even if somebody else is with you on it at those early hours, sometimes you kind of start to fade and you'll forget people are there and somebody will talk and you oh man.
In a sport built on speed.
All right, Brad, tell us about eNASCAR being featured with iRacing.
Yeah, this was a ex post I found. This is from Connor Yurashak. Says he had a really cool opportunity to showcase the world of eNASCAR and iRacing to a new audience. So this is it's about a 2 minute and 30 news story, kind of just detailing a little bit, about what Connor does and talking about iRacing and eNASCAR and stuff like that. And I just thought it was pretty neat. It's nice to see things like this continue to get some airplay. And this is again, like we talked, it's real racing. It's done virtually, and the more that we get, more stuff that gets out about this, I think the better it is. So this is kind of neat. Just all local. This is nothing, nationwide or anything like that. Just on a local news channel.
Yeah, local Calgary news channel out of Calgary, Canada, is where he's from, and so they're just talking about the local eNASCAR hero, of course. Cool, nice video.
And now, William, we have Race Control by VCO.
All right. So it's
Good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Come on.
oh we skip one.
Yeah,
We
you-
skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can skip that one. It's okay.
You skipped Greg's game.
Okay,
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Greg. I
I
apologize.
don't
It
give me
looks-
this.
it looks too
I
Canadian
haven't
for me.
I haven't watched this one, so don't give me this.
Oh,
I'm
come on.
behind on this
This
one.
is
I'm
all
behind
your
on this.
All right, we'll just skip it then.
I can bring you updates next week.
Who has watched it, Mike?
I
So-
watched it, but it's not my
Got it,
thing.
William. Well, go ahead, William.
It's just a small update for iRacing Arcade. Apparently, again, this is not my thing. I'm most likely not going to play it, but apparently they're going full on mobile game, and you're going to be able to build your own headquarters and garage and a whole sorts of thing as part of the whole experience. So it just goes through a quick showing you how you can place your buildings and what to expect, how to upgrade them, and stuff like that.
Reminds me of Sim City, like you build your little city.
Yeah, kind of like a little dumbed down version of it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you guys are taking things like Clash Clans and stuff like type of thing,
Yeah, they kind of mixed it with racing. Yeah.
but I'm watching the video now. It's just another. It's the same type of games that come out on Steam right now. Anyways, like these type of build and have trophies because you won some money. You can I can put this up and make it look like this. It's nice. I don't know. I don't know if that type of game. This is further than what that produced, like the company that's making this that's joined forces with iRacing. Their other Superstar Racing one wasn't that way, so it's interesting that they've added this to it.
All right, now we can talk about VCO.
All right, so it's since been renamed from Race Control Pro to Race Steward Pro. I guess they were not wanting it to be confused with some other products already out there. I didn't know about this until it was put on the script, but VCO, the organization that puts on some, Daytona 24s, kind of like majors, they have created a website for race stewarding. And so far, from what I've been able to tell, I just logged on and created a team on there or a league and try to see. It's basically just to handle your stewarding for their events, obviously, but then it allows you to add some private leagues on there. As I mess around with it more, I'll let you know if it's worth taking a look at. But as of right now, that's literally all it is. It's just keeping track of your league stewarding. I think it'd be really cool if they added some features to keep track of standings and points as well. I think that would make it a more well-rounded product, but we'll see how it goes.
So is it live stewarding or just after the
Not
fact?
not live.
It's-
I think it's
okay.
after the fact. Yeah.
Race-control.pro is the website.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
No?
It is race dash steward.pro.
Oh, I see.
So it's, I guess I'm confused. Is this just to help you manage a league?
Yeah, that's all it is. And like I said, they're probably going to use it for their events, right? Kind of like Mech has their own process, but
Okay.
right now, yeah, it's just managing your stewarding
For a
decisions.
fee, I presume. Yeah.
I don't think so. I was able to create a league. Now I don't.
Really?
It might ask for something later. I don't see anywhere that it has asked for payment for anything. Though I was able to create a league, create a couple races in the season. I haven't tried to upload anything to it, so maybe that's when it'll catch you. But so far, it hasn't asked for any payment.
Look, if you're a league admin and you're busy, I mean, this would be kind of a neat service. Just, dump it in there and see what it comes out of it.
Well, it's self-contained. Like I don't think it's their people coming in to make judgment calls on your league. I think it's self-contained. You can designate admins for your league and people who can review
Oh,
it.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's a tool for a league to use to do this
Right.
type of stuff. Okay.
Right.
All right, Brad, do we have a more clear explanation of what went on with Kosovar last week in the truck race?
Yeah, we had a short put up by DJ EJ, kind of explaining the controversial disqualification and then eventual reinstatement of Carson Hocevar win in the iRacing eNASCAR Coca-Cola qualifying series race at Las Vegas. So, what ended up happening was he he won the race, and then, like we talked last week, was DQ'd due to the restart. But a little bit more context. So there was a crash on pit road during a caution that nearly took. Had 30 cars basically have to take a wave around, which ended up, as typically does, leading to chaotic single file restart rather than double file. So you watch the video, you've got one guy leading. 30 trucks basically took the wave around, so they're all stacked up, single file behind them. So what he ended up doing when the green flag waved, as everybody knows, in iRacing, you can pass to the right before the start finish line, and it's not a penalty. You can't do it to the left, but you can do it to the right. Not so in real world NASCAR, but you can do it in iRacing. So that's what ended up happening. Was he did get to start finish line. He says everybody checked up. Doesn't make a difference, like it or not. It's not against the rules.
It was
So
green when he went
it was
around the
green.
car in
It was
front of
green.
him.
It was green when he went around. So
You don't want to pass
And
to the outside. Don't leave the outside open. It's the same with
Also-
Indy cars. When you got a single file restart, you always stay against the wall.
And I didn't get a chance to watch this, but were they basically still all trying to catch up? So it wasn't like he laid back and intentionally left the gap. It was just they were all still in the process of catching up, and he
well,
jumped to the
I
outside.
mean, he was as they were coming around. There was a chunk that had caught. As it is, he's towards the back. You know how it is. I mean, he was rolling as he was coming up to catch the line, and green flag came out, and he just stayed on it and started passing people. Again, not against the rules. It's just the way it is.
And not even I'm going to say not even unsportsmanlike by him, because it's a broken race control problem, really.
So look, I'm glad that he got his win back because, like you said, it is legal in iRacing. So I'm glad that, you know, cooler heads prevailed and he got what he was due. Pretty cool.
And what's clear is that he wasn't laying back to and basically trying to cheat. It's how it organically happened.
He
because
didn't
everybody
jump
got the
the
wave behind him.
green. Yeah, he wasn't laying back. He did everything. He just timed it better than the people ahead around him.
He did. And I mean, look, we've all been in that situation, and to me, it's borderline. But at the same time, look, if somebody doesn't get going ahead of me and I'm in the outside line and there's room, guess what? I'm not stacking the field up. I'm going. Whether we got to the start finish line or not, it doesn't make a difference. That's survival at that point. But but again, it goes back to, if what happened is what actually happened, why did you DQ him? Did we jump it And where we shouldn't have done it, I mean, I think back to last year with some of the Coke Series stuff. There were DQs put into place, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh well, no, maybe we won't DQ them. So again, if you're going to make a statement, you got to hold to it. Maybe they need to slow down a little bit before they just start DQing people.
Well, then
Especially the winner of the race. Okay, it wasn't just like the guy finishing 20th. They DQ'd. They DQ'd the guy who won.
the thing is this got to go with, if they don't do anything for a couple of days, then you get people on the forums bitching they haven't heard anything about it. There's no talk.
Right.
iRacing hasn't talked about it at all. If they're taking their time deciding it, they do this, then there's the outrage that they did it. I don't think you're damned if you're
never talk
damned
about what they do.
No, but I'm saying you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't if you're iRacing with some of these things. It's just you can't win no matter what you do, and it's I think the same thing we bitched at multiple sports is the consistency of being inconsistent, right, with what they do.
Yes, but look, this is the qualifying series, so I watched Tuesday night. I watched the round from um, Rockingham, and they're showing the top split, but they're jumping around. They went to third split. They showed third split for quite a while. There's not an active stewarding going on. They're letting iRacing handle the stuff, but they're obviously monitoring this. So someone is there watching what's going on, and that's where you can make a decision pretty quick. It shouldn't have taken that long. It shouldn't have been an immediate DQ and then to go ahead and reinstate it. If you're gonna, I mean, this is the qualifying series for gosh sakes. If you're using this series to set the field for the premier oval series in the entire eNASCAR world, I would surely think you got live people watching these events going on.
Well, here's the biggest issue that I don't think we're really talking about is we're still having these pit road pace car getting the file restarts properly done. Like, should it not have did the thing do its actual proper thing where you should have why is it a single file restart? Why was it
Well, it's single file because everybody takes the wave around to get. So that's going to put you the tail end of the longest line.
did it actually do the proper procedure afterwards? Like, was it the
I think it was
proper
right.
running?
Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't glitch that way.
It just
No.
the caution came out when there was still one car on the lead lap. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you
so-
have 30 cars taking the wave around, they're not all going to get around in time.
No, especially when we continue to do the quickie cautions. Just put an extra pace lap in there and it would let everybody get tightened up and would eliminate so many problems. Add one caution lap. It's not going to kill us. One caution lap. That's all you got to add.
Yeah, well, we fought for years to get that caution lap taken away.
Who actually fought for that? I
Unintended
didn't.
consequences.
Well, then you're going to have, what, 300 laps at a 500 lap Martinsville event then? They're going to be on a caution with the extra one caution lap?
So it's just going to be a few less restarts with lap one wrecks. Fix race control. It really needs to be a priority, but it wasn't even discussed on the dev vlog. Let's move on.
He made a comment in the forum thread that they're making great progress.
Oh, cool. That's good to hear. Better than nothing.
But we want Lennox as a choice too.
The cult members of us do, yes.
I was making a joke.
And before we get threatening emails from members of the Linux fan club. All right, 2026 Sim Gaming Expo tickets are now available.
Guys, what are we doing? Are we doing this again this year?
I've booked it off already, so we better be.
Mike?
Yeah, I
I have the days off, but I haven't booked anything.
Let's get the booth again.
All right. So good. There you go, listeners. We'll be there again. And you guys get to be there. It's my birthday weekend too. This is going to be even better. I expect lots of gifts. I'm going to tell you what I want when I'm there, and you guys can just go ahead and grab them for me.
I'm coming from Canada. That's gift enough.
I gotta spend less money though. I mean, I think I gotta not drink beer. I mean, I spent so much money on beer.
Says the guy who has a sim racing dining room.
But
You'll
this,
be fine, Mike. You'll be fine.
I spent as much on beer as I did the hotel room. I mean, as long if I don't drink beer, I think I can afford it.
Title idea.
I'll buy you a beer, Mike.
Here's what we do: we get a bunch of listeners to just come and cover all of Mike's beer.
Hey, there you go.
We'll definitely have to do a little bit of fundraising for the booth again as well. I don't want to. I thought that was a really awesome idea, and we were the first to do it as far as a podcast goes.
Well, let's get a hold of Jorge and get started. All right, so Sim Racing Expo, Charlotte, North Carolina, Memorial Day weekend. We did get a couple more announcements. Sim Magic will be there, so that's exciting. I will be attending this, so I will ask the question: where is the mysterious active pedal that has disappeared from the ecosphere, never to be seen again in almost 2 years? So, and then we've also got Simufy will be there as well. That was announced this week. So Simufy is will be one of the exhibitors there. So they're I think they're based out of South America, I believe.
They have some nice looking rigs based on the picture I see. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they got. I'll take the next one. We got a sponsor. Oh yeah, no, I mean the Ringmeister has a sponsor. Our official series, the Ringmeister, is now sponsored by, I guess it's called Livery, but it's LVRY, and they're a clothing manufacturer that does clothing and styles and stuff like that. Well, apparently, due to the sponsorship, if you complete 8 out of the 12 Ringmeister weekly races, you'll earn 5 points per race, finishing all 8 races to receive 40 total points. Each point is $1 towards livery gear. So you can use the points to get some sim gloves or a t-shirt or whatever you want.
Yeah, that's pretty generous. I will say they're working on a sim glove as well to be able to uh, sell on the website. So I'm interested to see that. They also make driver gear like race suits, hoods, stuff like that, and they make everyday wearing around clothing. I will say nothing currently on the website looks to be under like $150. So like I said, generous gift for running the Ringmaster they're giving out, but it was a little expensive side on their gear.
So Mike
I'll be
needs
running regardless.
Mike needs a sim racing suit. That's what Mike needs.
Yeah.
Not after today and the way I sweat at Coda. Oh my God. My whole back of my seat was literally wet. I don't think I've ever sweat so much in my iRacing career.
And there goes all our listeners.
Title idea: back sweat.
All right, the Porsche Esports Super Cup is back, William.
Yeah, it's an Instagram post. I believe we covered this a couple weeks ago. Last time I was on the show. I think the qualifying for it went up as time
Yeah,
trials,
time
and
trials,
I
yep.
I never actually forgot to go and even try it. Not that I think I would have posted a time that would have gotten anywhere close to being able to participate, but I forgot to even go try. But yeah, now it says the top 3 drivers from the national championships. From this, we'll get to step up to the next level. So yeah, it's really cool, and will most likely be streamed on the iRacing Twitch channel. So it's another thing we can get to go watch.
Kind of a hype video, basically. But yeah, I saw the time trials. I don't own the car, but
All right, we got a few events coming up. The Mech Round 2 Sebring 6 Hours coming up, and that's not this weekend. That's a couple of weekends away, isn't it?
Next weekend, yeah, the 7th.
The 7th, yep. So me and Tom have decided not to run the LMP2 anymore because It wasn't particularly fun, and we were last. We were one of the slowest cars anyway. So we're going to go ahead and run the car we like to run the special events in. We're going to run the GTP. And this is kind of my home track. This is where I usually uh, outrun people that usually outrun me on it everywhere else. So looking forward to it, even though it's a little bit different in the HPD and there's no setups. So we're basically running the Le Mans setup. Then we also have the VCO Infinity 6, Brad.
Yeah, we talked this last week. So this is the 6th year they've done this. It's 24 races, 24 hours, the ultimate multiple discipline challenge on iRacing. So this will take place 6th and 7th of March. So next weekend. So yeah, both back-to-back races. It's kind of interesting. Never done it, but yeah, it definitely sounds like abuse.
So is it going to be over Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
So it'll get in the way. We wouldn't be able to do it essentially if we want to do mech.
And then you have the major Sebring Classic, 2 hours of Sebring majors.
Yep, and that's the one. That's the one where I was referring to the HPD not having a setup for, because this is running the HPD and two of the older GTs. Which ones are they, Brad?
Corvette and the Aston.
Which one are y'all running?
There's nothing old on VRS for those.
I found one somewhere. I don't remember where I found it for the Corvette. So this is solo. So, but I'm running a Corvette.
With the way the track has changed, I wouldn't trust any of those sets any more than just running the Le Mans set or the low downforce set. I just had to change the gear ratio because it was the wrong set of gears. So first gear was really sluggish.
The Classic is this weekend.
Yeah, classics. Yes,
Correct.
Sunday night for the Americas. So this is part of the major series where we had the Snowball Derby, the Intimidator 500, and now we're on to the third race of the year. So it's fun. So that's I love that Corvette. A lot of good memories there years ago racing that, and it's kind of fun to get back in, grab an oval rim, and grab the shifter and be flipping and doing downshifts and everything like that, all one handed. I love it. I enjoy that. So this week in iRacing, just to kind of wrap up, week 1 for the IndyCar iRacing series. They'll be at Sebring. So again, this is the 17-week season that mimics the real life IndyCar series, very similar to the way that the NASCAR iRacing series does. With one notable exception, these are full distance races. Is the way these are done. So you've also
Brutal.
got So you've also got the Super Late Model Tour is in week 2. And then you've got the Whelen Modified is in week 3 of 26. So Whelen Modifieds are at USA, and the late models are at Southern National Motorsports Park.
I'd be more keen to run the IndyCar series if it were half distance races like NIS, but the full distance, it really turns me off.
I'm looking forward to. I think it's Saturday night. There's one. I want to do the Saturday night one.
Podcast housekeeping, leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Check out the Discord and get involved in the discussion, like we talked about Smurfs and all kinds of stuff in the Discord this week. The guys wanted me to promote my TikTok channel on the podcast, and so I'm going to say it out loud. It's tiktok.com/@Mike Dean Ellis, all one word. Come find me on the TikTok, guys. I'm actually making money. I made $43 streaming the Daytona 500 the other night. And then when I ran the Atlanta fixed race, I got like $13. And so, yeah, I've been having fun over there. Check out our website, iRacersLounge.com, for the show notes. We are in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network, and get your merchandise at iRacersLounge.shop.
All right, 100 people were asked who they think would win at Echo Park Speedway, and Swerve says, Brad?
That would be Swerve. 76 took the win. So second was Race Addict. Third, oh jeez, he's back. The Penguin.
Back.
The Penguin is back. Penguin racing
Bobby
third.
Jonas, fourth.
Was fourth, and then Kaylin and Carolyn a kid were tied for fifth. So um, I had a really good lineup until everybody decided to wreck themselves, and at that point I was in not good shape. Everybody I had ended up getting wrecked.
Is that supposed to be like Carolina Kid? Is that what's kind of trying to do a play on words?
Yeah, I think it is.
So did we like the race or not?
Oh, the race was fine. Yeah, it was good. Look,
Liked
the racing's better there than it is at Daytona and Talladega.
Tell you what, I'm glad I didn't go because the wind chill was like 12 degrees that night. It was it was rough.
Yeah, it was blowing pretty hard. So no, I thought it was a good race. So I thought all the races were good. You know, the truck race, Xfinity race was good, and the Cup race was good. You know, we got some drama again. Carson Hocevar is causing drama, and I love it. Let him continue to cause drama. It's good. Somebody needs to get up there and throw a car up in a hole every now and then. And hey, if you rough some guys up, you rough some guys up. It's what it's going to be.
Look, the when he hit Christopher Bell and took Christopher Bell out, I mean, there wasn't a hole there, Brad. Come on.
It was there, then it closed up. It was very Brad Keselowski, 2014 Texas reminiscent. It was good. So, look, he was getting pushed from behind. Whatever, man. Look, we can't all be kumbaya. He's there to win a race. You know, that's the deal. He's there to win a race, and it always takes care of itself somehow.
So Carson gets an old guy like me excited about NASCAR again because of the brashness, the way he races. And we were talking this week in the chat about reminds me of Ross Chastain before Rick Hendrick had a discussion with him. Ross used to run just like this.
He'll still put it there when he needs to.
He will.
Do we really think that the Hendrick thing played that much of a role into
No,
it, or is it just a
I don't.
narrative?
I think it's the narrative, and I think they got lost setup wise after that because they were not very competitive. Anybody on that team was not very competitive. The tail end of 24, and then through some of the large portion of 25.
But yeah, Carson Hocevar was definitely a discussion of about his style of driving and whatnot. But I like it. So like you said, it's nice to have somebody kind of force the issue.
Yeah, it's been all over the podcast all week long. And we got the stalwarts that are complaining. Denny Hamlin and whining and moaning about him. I mean, it's just whatever. I think Denny's going to be a mid-packer probably this year. I don't know. I don't know if he's got the speed to be there or not.
He sounds very, very monotone this year. Like, it just doesn't... I mean, I don't blame him for his heart not being into it, but maybe it is into it. It just kind of... He doesn't seem the same.
So, Coda, my SVG. It's time for the SVG show, or is it the
Don't
other
put
kid?
that pressure on him yet. He's got to... we got to temper expectations of the kid right away.
Yeah, I look. Zillage finishes in the top 10. I think that's a huge win. He's got to get used to this car to some degree. Look, he ran good last week. He was up front. Look, I mean, Trackhouse has got speed this year. Spire's got speed. So I don't know. Spire's got speed, and then I mean, I think Michael McDowell, could be good. But look,
Suarez.
this is where SVG got beat last year. He got beat by Kyle Busch. He got beat by
Bell.
Christopher Bell. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I expect SVG to be very good. But look, I like the short courses better here. That running the full Grand Prix course was just way too long for these cars. I think us at NIS, running that configuration was much better last night than it was running the full course. So I think that's a win.
I think the thing with me, it is this track maybe because doesn't wear the tires as much. Maybe it wasn't as great for SVG, or is it just because it was the first road course last year? Maybe It's not they got one on over on them. I don't know if they get one over on them this year, but you're gonna have the typical guys that finish in the top 10 and fighting for stuff. So like you'll have Bell, you'll have Byron. I would guess Chase Elliott, if he doesn't do something stupid, probably finishes in the top 10. Um, if I was Connor Zillage, I would be trying to get a top 10 and get a good finish because he's had a horrible start to the season and he needs to collect some points.
Yeah. So look, hey guys, I mean, it's week 2, and what have we been talking about more than anything? Points again. It's nice to talk about points and look at points and wonder where people are with points. That's enjoyable. I like that. Same thing we do in here. I finished third last night in NIS. And what's the first thing I did? What do you think I went and did?
You mean 13th?
Second points.
I was in 5th last night. Of course, that was only one race in, but what did I do? I went and looked at the points. I want to see where I'm at in the points. Points mean things, so that's nice.
Yeah, it is a nice change.
So overall, coming out, here's where we stand points-wise. And first, we got Race Addict with 406. Penguin
Spit it out.
second. Penguin Racing at second with 381, followed by Bobby Jonas 71 in third. The Trentster Turtle is in fourth, and then Swervy 76 is in. Wait a second, I'm confused. I got 2 Jonases here. We got Jonas. That Jonas is Bobby.
Smurf.
It's number
Smurf.
6.
He's Smurf
Smurf.
count. He's got a
He's
Smurf
Smurf.
account.
Smurf in the elite.
Oh, Bobby. So there you go. We'll see where we stand after Coda, guys.
Hey, I'm glad to be back in it. For some reason, I couldn't get access to my other account, so I had to start a new one.
Is that you? Are you the Smurf?
No, I don't normally call myself Bobby when I rewrite things back out.
All right, Mike. First thing we're going to look at is SimWorks Pedals version 3.2.
Yeah, SimWorks with an X is born. It's created from a real-world motorsports experience and feedback. No better feeling pedal set on the market, featuring a hydraulic load cell brake pedal that offers precision and realistic braking feel and modulation. Man, they look really good. Black with silver and red. The look of them is really good. I really like how they styled them. The hydraulic obviously is a win. Uh, yeah, they look pretty good.
They look fantastic. I think I've heard of these people before, but never really paid attention to them. They're an Australian company. Um, like Mike said, low cell,
Have carbon fiber on them. Yeah, it's like
yeah, hydraulic load cell brake. I mean, they look fantastic. They are Australian. They're 2,500 Australian dollars, which comes out to about 1,700 US. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what the tariff situation is right now. So good luck with that. But
Can you get to the website? Because I
Is
can't
that-
get to the website.
yeah,
Oh,
I can.
There it is.
Yeah, they look really good. I will be looking for some reviews for these. On one, they're sold out, by the way. But I'll be looking for some reviews. I don't think I'll actually even entertain purchasing them because I think if I change anything, it'll be the SimiQA active pedal. But I mean, they look really nice. Look to be great quality.
high end for sure. They got that look that I like. So this next one, David, was really about our teammate who's trying to buy a SimLab chassis, but they're out of stock, and he started getting recommendations from other companies like this one.
Yeah, this
It's Rig Metal Chases. Go ahead, Brad.
I was just going to say, Rig Metal is the chassis builder. This is their flagship cockpit. Comes in about $790, and it's 160 millimeter base chassis. It probably looks like your uprates are probably 120s. It's nice, solid. I mean, again, it's not. I mean, for me, this and we've also got one on here from Sim Motion as well. Very similar setup. Sim Motion's a little bit more expensive. But look, you can go the flashy route, and I get it. The Sim Labs, the P1X, the ASRs, some of those, they're flashy and stuff. But man, these are just good, solid built chassis that you will never have to replace. I mean, you go this route with a 160, and I mean, it's solid. It's solid. You're gonna buy it once. You're gonna have lots of room that you can do upgrades on. On this one, you've got 4 channels everywhere to put anything you want to put. We've talked before with some of the newer ones, they've gotten away from all the channels, on the chassis and stuff. But yeah, I mean, these are it's a good options. They're in stock and ready to ship today.
And you can always add more 80/20 on later. That's even with my sim lab, I added a shelf for my butt kicker, and it actually also holds my flight sticks now when I'm racing. I set them up there. So you can put any of the 80/20 rigs, you get that option.
This rig metal looks like a P1X, David. It looks like your cockpit. Got the same layout design, basically.
Yeah, even the pedal is just about even the pedal tray is about the same, except on my pedal tray, uh, it's an 80 millimeter and a 160 millimeter. So my pedal tray's got a little bit more heft to it. All right, William, what is the hard truth about upgrades?
Trying to get back off my pedals right quick.
Let's spend Williams' money.
Spend my money. All right, yeah. Random call sign put out a video, the hard truth about upgrades. So I only skimmed this, so I'm gonna go by the little AI thing we have down here. And from what I watched and also from what I read, it's basically, you know, we've had videos like this before. Yes, some gear is gonna make you better. I will 100% be on the podium that upgrading to a load cell pedal is gonna make you faster. It's just truth. But often the problem is in the seat, right? So yes, better gear can make you more consistent, but that's not always the case. Generally, you're going to get better outcomes by practicing with intention, I should say. Um,
I play saxophone. If I take and I actually my expensive instrument is my clarinet, but I have a student line saxophone, but with a really expensive mouthpiece. Um, but if I put a junk reed on it in a really poor quality, no matter how good I am, it will make me sound terrible. Um, but if I take my saxophone and hand it over to my brother, who was a trumpet player, he'll sound like shit. Right? So equipment will not make you better. It's not a substitute for talent. And this is another one of those things that I could almost turn into a soundboard. Bad equipment can hold your potential back. It can prevent you from achieving. It can get in the way. Essentially, it's not going to make you better when you upgrade, but it can take away something that was essentially making you not as good.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things he touched on, and I think we're really starting to see this, and I think if we get into the discussion about SemiCube 3 wheelbases, look, the hardware has, as he calls it, has kind of reached a mature phase. We're no longer seeing massive leaps, in technology when it comes to hardware. Look, direct drive bases, rudimentally, they're all the same. There's differences between all of them, but there's hardly a bad direct drive base that you can go buy now. All you're getting is incremental polish when it comes to stuff. It's just I could think back to years ago. It was gear driven wheelbases. Then we went to belt driven. Now we've gone to direct drive. I don't know what's past direct drive. Um, I'm sure something will come along at some point, but it's hard to make big jumps in what you're buying now. It's more of, to me, it turns into more preference and finding something that you're comfortable with and that you're going to enjoy. Don't just buy something just because it's the latest thing and you got to have it. The beauty that we have now, we've talked about this before, is the amount of reviewers and the amount of people that spend time putting their hands on stuff, and you can get a good feel for something before you even think about buying it. And now we have the options of, look, in 26, there's 2 expos coming to the US. You can go and put your hands on stuff. If you're lucky and you've got a Micro Center in town, you can go put your hands on quite a bit of stuff at Micro Center. There's no reason to jump and just buy something immediately when it comes out just for the sake of buying it.
I
I
kind of
think
took a different spin on this video from my perspective was the upgrade trap of, for me, over the years, I'm always looking at my rig and my setup. Okay, what am I doing next? I always have something on the list. Like, okay, I'm waiting for a DDU right now. I just bought a brand new DDU. That's the next thing I'm going to do to my rig. As soon as I get that DDU, I'll target something else. And this is a trap for me. I'm always wanting to do it better, but then I have to weigh, okay, am I going to go to motion? Am I going to spend a bunch of money? I don't have the money, there's all these decisions and discussions, internal discussions of weighing that upgrade trap. Do I really need to do this?
well,
And so, yeah,
Mike, I don't think it's an upgrade trap in your situation because it's going to make you happy, right? Like you want to do it because it's cool and you want to have that. You're not buying that DDU to get you 50 I rating, right? If you currently have a mid-range any of the DD or any of the direct drives, upgrading to a SimiCube 3 is not going to make you from a 2K racer to a 4K racer. That's not what you should be doing. If it makes you happy, if you're going to enjoy it, yeah, go buy it. If that's what you want, sure. And, you're not going to regret it. But if you're trying to chase a number by upgrading your gear, it's not going to happen.
no,
Yeah,
not at all. It's
yeah.
about a look. It's about the look of the rig. I want it to look a certain way.
Well, exactly. That's part of, that to me, that's the whole other side to sim racing is it's the gear, it's the fun things that you can do. Again, I've said before, I try different stuff. I will move things around on my rig because I'm just trying to find something to where I think it works better or whatnot. That's, to me, that's half the fun, is the tinkering and all the little stuff that you get to do outside of the racing, to make what you've got yours and yours alone. You're not going to go. I can walk into all y'all's houses and you're not going to have your rig set up the way that I have it set up. And we're all going to be different because there's certain things that we want. And to me, that's half the fun.
I would also venture to guess that what I talked about with gear holding people back, especially nowadays, anybody that's come in lately and is getting a direct drive and this, because I don't guess you can get a gear driven or belt driven drive much anymore. Um, the biggest place where people are going to suffer with their cheaper equipment is not the drive; it's going to be the rig, the rig stability and the pedals. I think, or particularly people like, for example, Tom, who's been racing forever in an office chair, and when you don't have that stability, that's a huge detriment to your racing. So that kind of spins off into what do you upgrade first? And I think it's always going to be stability before the wheelbase. Stability pedals, then wheelbase. While we're talking about stability, that the next thing we have is another one of the motions, or not motion. Well, this says motion. Is it motion, Mike, or is it
It's the
just a
name of the company.
motion?
It's called Sim
Okay,
Motion is the
that's
name of
that's
the company
that's
or the
confusing
website.
because I don't see motion equipment.
Yeah, it's called simmotion.com is their website. But they offer, as Brad said, a nice premium aluminum extrusion chassis. This is a P1X clone, basically, very similar to the one we just saw from the other company. $824.95. Pretty good deal.
A couple quick hits here. We got wheelbase wraps. This is from Lovely Stickers FR. So this is for the Sim Magic Evo line. They've been around for quite a while. Did a lot of stuff with the Fanatec Lovely Stickers to where you get the stickers like for the Fanatec rims and stuff. But now they've got wraps for the bases. So if you want to add a flavor to your direct drive base, like the one that's in the Instagram post here is a Porsche livery on there. Pretty neat. Me,
You
mine's
kill the resale value,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But I mean, again, I don't know. I don't see mine anyway because mine's tucked in underneath my center monitor, so it doesn't make a difference.
A hard no for me.
I'm not really concerned with how any of my externals look because I race in VR.
Are we jumping to results, David?
Well, are there any ones that you want to cover?
Yeah, we had let's hit the SemiCube and let's hit the 3D printing because we had those in the script.
So the SemiCube 3, we got some videos on this, a couple of them. Okay, so we got Dan Suzuki, and his was really comparing, contrasting the SemiCube 2 to the SemiCube 3, talking a lot about what are the differences between them. And like Brad said before, at this point with these wheelbases, they're all pretty much good. Yes, the 3 is a little bit more refined here and there, a little more detail here and there is basically what I heard.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway for me from Suzuki's here is the concern with Lightbridge and not having the USB pass through. That was he came back to that multiple times. Over and over again. The wheel side quick release is expensive. You got to have the SemiCube linked. That's another expense. I mean, it's look, SemiCube is the high end. They know who their market is. They know where their market is. They know who their consumers are. But again, yes, is it smoother? Yes. Is it a huge jump up? I don't think it is. And that's why I went with the two because I just I don't see where, again, not worth it to me to make that huge jump.
So once again, without USB pass through, does that mean you have to cable any rim that you want to run that's not Lightbridge?
Well, they
Yeah.
make a library adapter, don't they? That
Uh,
certain and aren't certain wheels being made with the module with
yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are certain manufacturers are making wheels that will have like the light bridge built into it, so it'll work through that.
So
Um,
so it's
but
basically a new standard uh,
Right.
beyond USB.
yes, it's the SemiCube standard. That's what they're going to. They've decided to go into that. That's their ecosystem now. Is going to be Lightbridge, where you've got
So
other.
Lightbridge, yeah, passes a little bit of power and a little bit of data in that configuration, basically.
Yes, but where you've got other wheelbases, V&M, you got other ones that are working towards, you know, USB pass through, which then any wheel is compatible. Any wheel's compatible with USB anyway. You just have to have an external plug. It's not a big. It don't make a difference to me either way. I run a cable to mine, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But again, it's interesting to see how they've invested in this, and we'll see how it plays out. But until you get until you get enough of the other wheel manufacturers willing to buy in, and again, we see how the community takes it. I don't know if it's a win or a loss yet.
The reason I ask is if you can still use your wheels, you just have to use a cable. It's not that big of a con.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not. I use a cable.
yeah. I've got a cable too. I don't think I'd have a problem continuing to use it, but yeah, it was a choice.
There's also a video here from Chris Stewart about the same wheelbase, and he talks about, is it a upgrade to go from SemiCube 2 to SemiCube 3? He's basically saying no, you shouldn't do that. It's not justified. Um, and
Yeah.
for hardcore enthusiasts, if you're looking for that last few percent of refinement and spending 1,700 for the incremental gains doesn't give you pause, then it is a top tier product.
Yeah, so Chris is a streamer that I've known for a minute through just a couple different leagues, and he got this last Thursday, I think. And off the video we've got here, but on one of his streams, he kind of said that he agrees with everything that Dan put in his video. I haven't watched the Dan one yet because it's a little bit more involved, and I like to give my full attention because he's one of the reviewers I actually really trust. But yeah, I mean, he basically mirrored Dan's thoughts, and that's what we were talking about. if you've got the money and it's not going to bother you and you want that, sure, go get it. I've got a SimiCube 2. I would really like the SimiCube 3, but to me, it's just not worth it for what you're going to get from my upgrade path. Now, somebody else, again, it's up to you individually to make that choice. But for me, in this upgrade path, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. No, but then again, there's no judgment. You do what you want to do, but look,
Yeah.
don't go into debt to upgrade your wheelbase. Not worth it. Stay with what you got. So last hardware thing, ran across the post from Dale Earnhardt Jr. on X, and he actually talked about this on the Tuesday show, on the Dale Jr. download. He said it recently required a 3D printer and was wondering what cool things I could print for organizing tools and whatnot, or for sim racing. So I did see a post here from Mart on PC. So with the 3D 3D printed push to talk button mount for the oval sim wheels, said he'd be happy to share the files with them and even give him a list of components so he could put it together themselves. So I actually have this push to talk button, very nicely built. So thought that was kind of interesting, and yeah, it's kind of neat to hear Junior on the podcast talking about it. So they printed a SemiCube mount for his wheel to put on the wall, so he could put his extra wheel mounted to the wall. So it's again, I like when he starts talking sim racing. He carries a lot of weight, and I think it's cool.
How do you mount that on your wheel?
Well, no, it's to hold the extra wheel. So like I got two of them from SimSport Gadgets, so they're mounted on the back side of my
I think you mean
rig.
I mean the button box.
Oh,
It probably
it's
has a Velcro strap.
Velcro strap.
That's what
Oh, okay.
that's what mine has, is a Velcro strap that goes around one of the spokes.
Yep, super easy.
All right, let's talk results. Friday, NIS Open at Echo Park Speedway. David, a P4.
Yeah, up to this point, I have not had a clean race in NIS in any attempt so far. I'm just always getting caught up in other people's mess. And of course, that's part of racing and plate racing, anyways. But in this particular case, that put me towards the back, fixing a lot of damage. I got all the damage fixed towards as we got close to the end of the race. And the caution came out at a point where I opted to not take tires, or I think it was actually a 2-tire stop, and it put me up in the front. And at that point, I was able to stay in front of the mess and finish in fourth. So it was finally a good result, even though I was still caught up in the mess.
All right, Brad, P3.
Yeah, so started P12, kind of able to stay up front most of the race. We ended up with a few green white checkers. I think we actually had a green flag pit stop, which was interesting in this race as well. I think that was this one. I don't know. I got to get better about writing these down as soon as I finish the race. I'm horrible about doing that. So I did get a little encouragement from Justin Pearson. He really wanted me to win this, and I told him, I said, I got a P3. I really tried, but yeah, I was happy with that. Is neither one of those are my favorite type of racing, and happy to come out of a P2 at Daytona and a P3 at Echo Park. So good start for the year.
All right, moving on to Sunday fixed. Chris Waldron was wrecked out by a lap car. I got a P22. I got wrecked out from the lead with about 30 to go, just basically tapped in the corner from behind. It turned me around, 6 minutes damage. I just limped it home from there. Ouch. Let's move on to Coda. Wednesday Open, Chris Waldron P3 after a rough Atlanta. I was looking forward to Coda. Qualified third and bottom split, went to second and separated from the field after turn one. Got the lead and held it for about 15 laps. When pitting, I drove it into the tire barrier. Ugh, I limped it home to P3. We will see how Friday goes. David, P17.
Yeah, the streak of just getting caught up in mess continued. I took it easy on the start, and we've made it around. We're coming around the last turn, so we're going up the front stretch, and a car on the. I do get a really good run, so I'm on the inside of a guy, and there's some guy way out off in the runoff area that spins out and is nowhere near this guy. Um, but he sees him and he reacts to him and jerks hard to the left and comes right across my nose halfway across the track. So I don't know if he didn't know I was there or just decided he had to turn left no matter what. It was definitely not trying to take me out. It was pretty clear he was reacting to the spin car, but he was overreacting and not being aware of everything that was around him. And so yeah, I just continue to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay. Brad, P13, top split.
Yeah, so I was only able to get one start this week. So look, the road courses, I'm always end up being a top split in NIS. So, um, but I'll take it. So started, I think I started 20th. Um, turn one was utter chaos, cars going everywhere, and like the first probably 3 laps, all it was just trying to avoid the guys that were spinning off, or someone would cook it past you and then end up blowing the corner and just spinning off, and so just tried to kind of keep it clean. It was slow compared to the leader. I think he lapped us twice, and I mean it's stupid when you get beat by 5 seconds right off the bat in qualifying. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be ugly. So just kind of kept it on the track the whole race. Didn't really have any major issues. Like I said earlier, I think this configuration is much better, and then the adjusted track limits or lack thereof definitely made it a much less stressful race as it is compared to some previous years. Where you're just trying to, you certain areas you drop 2 inches off or go over 2 inches in a curve, and you're going to pick up an off track. That was kind of nice to some degree, but at the same time too, I saw guys that were just really literally running completely non-realistic lines in many places.
That's why they were blowing braking zones.
Yeah, I know.
I thought the off tracks were too lenient this year at Coda.
They somewhat mimics the the NASCAR stuff. I mean, the S's were fine, but the exit of the last corner was pretty bad, and then I guess it's probably what 15 when you got the left-hander before you come up to pit road. I mean, you could almost wash. Gosh, you could wash like 5 or 6 car links out to the right there and not have any issues.
As long as you don't clip the grass, you're fine.
But but it never seemed to be at least for me, and this may be a skill issue. It never seemed to be faster if I went out there versus when I stayed more in the limits.
It's a lot faster. it's really fast if you do it right. I watched the leader when he went by us. The amount of time he got from the way he was, he was averaging.
Rolling it.
He was averaging 134-second laps. Like, it was ridiculous how fast he was. The place that I picked up 6 X's in that race, but it was all in the same spot. It was the grass coming out of after you come out of that new west spot. If I gave it too much on that one left-hander to try and get to that braking zone, I would clip the grass, and it just, even if you touched it at all, it was a 1X.
So Greg, you had a P14.
Yeah, I was chasing Brad the whole race. I was gonna say Brad had no concerns, but the only concern was coming up in his mirror in the last couple laps. I almost beat him off pit road on the pit stops because he had a little bit of mistake on pit road, but I got behind him and then I accelerated one of the corners and it just wanted to loop. I was able to save it, and I was probably 8 seconds back from you after that one. Go around the next lap and do the exact same thing and lose another 4 seconds, and by the end of the race, I don't know, was it 12 laps or something we got to run that way, I made up 13 seconds and I finished 0.8 of a second behind you.
You were quick, and like I told you, it didn't matter to me. 13th, 14th, I didn't care. All I was doing was focused on not spinning out, and I just wanted to stay on the track with only one shot at this week.
Yep, I'm also one and done. Thursday Open, I ran and got a P4. Started P10, ended up having 2 or 3 lazy spins on my own. I actually sped getting off pit road as I was trying to get a drink of water. Ended up having to come back in for a 15-second hold. I actually got it as high as P3 during this race, but finished P4. Super happy. We'll take it. Don't really like this track. I've never been so sweaty after a race in my entire iRacing career. This was a record. Super hot. Other racing, let's talk Ringmeister. I ran the GT3 cars, got pole position in the first race. I was leading, but hit a curb and spun off. Then I started second, but spun off on my own after hitting another curb. Then I started pole position, got a 1.5 second gap, and then I touched the curbs and spun out and killed the car again. Then finally, a finish, P2. Finally got a finish, but I had nothing for that leader. He was faster than me the whole time and pulled away, but a great points day. Then next started pole position, finished P3. Had nothing for the two leaders. They were faster. And so I'm going to keep running this week and try to get a win. Grassroots Racing, Interlagos, William P24.
Yeah, so this was an uncharacteristically clumsy race for me. Let me start by saying I hate this track. I hate this track. I hate this track. If iRacing retired it, I would cry tears of joy, I think.
I
But
like this track.
I stand this track, man. So I struggled in quality, started like sixth. We had a crazy start. Three wide, several rows into turn one. Everybody got through it clean except for in the back. Somebody forgot to hit the brakes. It took out, I think, two cars, but overall, like through the field, it was pretty clean through turn one. It's crazy as many cars we had. Lap two or three, going into one of the right-handers towards the end of the lap, me and Weaver got together. We both looked at it and think it's a racing incident, but he kind of understeered into me. I didn't give him much room. It ended up him spinning. Unfortunate. I just kind of rode in fifth until the pits. Got stuck behind a Merc I couldn't get around. I find it super hard to pass here. Came out of the pits, back in between two Mercs. The guy in front of me was struggling mightily in the turns. He was parking at the apex. He wasn't, I mean, nothing intentional, nothing nefarious. He was just struggling, having a hard time. With about 7 laps to go, the Merc behind me hit me going into turn one in the rear. Wasn't too bad a hit, but it got me loose. I never really had control of the car through the rest of the turn. I had to hit the brakes to keep from spinning it, and then he just drove into me again. The second time, broke the right rear suspension. Let my emotions get the best of me after that, and tried to race him down into turn four, but the car was just broke. I shouldn't have done that. I ended up getting into him and ending both of our nights. So finished P24. It was ugly. I'll be glad to not see that track for a long, long time.
Yep, and then Elbows Out Racing League, Monza P4.
Yeah, Monza. So this race was a planned rain race. 30% chance of spotty rain, I think is what they said it at. Once we loaded into the session, practice was rain the whole time. Qualify was going to be rain, but it looked like it should stop raining like 2 or 3 laps into the race, if that long. Unfortunately, it went farther than that, and my God, did it pour. I'll put a video. I put the video in Grassroots. I'll put it in the iRacers Discord after we get off. But man, the first 3 laps, all 3 of my monitors, all 3 triple monitors, white in the spray. I could not see a thing. You couldn't drive. It was hard. I still had fun, but man, those conditions were something. So saying that, I didn't follow my initial strategy plan to kind of put a lot more fuel, because fuel's not limited in this this league. We just have to make one stop no matter what to change tires. I plan on putting more fuel in to try to run it till the track was dry and so I could switch tires. I saw it was supposed to stop raining on like the first lap, so I didn't. I wish I had, because the track just, it didn't dry. It rained, it just poured for like the first 6 laps. Track didn't dry. I had to come in. I had to switch to wets because it was somewhat drying, but not enough. So I spent about 5 laps on the track where it just wasn't ready for dries. It cost me about 3 seconds a lap. I think if I hadn't done that, and if I'd been on the right strategy, I would have been able to compete with the top 3. But as it is, I finished 4th, about 6 seconds behind 3rd.
All right, hosted racing I ran supercars at Indy Oval. They threw a competition caution, but 1 lap too soon, so it turned into a fuel mileage race. I actually almost won it, finished P2. Then I ran a pickup cup at Charlotte, finished P4. Final thoughts, Greg Hectus.
Just try to get back in the I was telling Brad before we started the show today, as I woke up this morning, like I haven't been in the sim in like 2-3 months, and Daytona wasn't that hard on me, and neither was Atlanta. But I was pretty sore this morning. Maybe it was the Brad thought maybe it was just the way I was sitting. I think it's just I'm not used to muscling it around in the last little bit, so it just tells you how physical some of the racing can be, and maybe how much I was trying to focus on trying to hunt Brad down last night. Maybe made me use a little bit more than what it was, but it's been a little bit humbling here too, trying to get back at things. It's tough taking time off and trying to get back into it. I've been enjoying it, but I'm gonna slowly work my way back in, I guess.
All right, Brad Rinn, final thought.
Um, so we're only 3 weeks into NIS, but what a difference a year makes. So I was looking at this last night, and I keep track of my starts and my my weeks and stuff. And after 3 races this year, I've scored more points than I scored in the first 5 races of 25. So yeah, we're looking at points already. It's week 3. I get it, but just how bad the start was last year, and I don't think I ever really got that out of my head, and ended up bailing out. I guess about 28 weeks in last year. But I was talking to my wife last night, and as just the mental side of it, plays into it when you get such a bad start, and then you're rolling into week 9 and week 10, and you just can't seem to make any ground if you're chasing points, which I am. I want to be able to finish up as high as I can, but when you're so far back in the hole, it just makes it, it's a daunting task, and that makes it even worse sometimes. So, yeah, what a difference a year can make. But yeah, having fun, and looking forward to next week where we actually get to the season will start, with NIS. Let's get some traditional tracks. Let's get away from the drafting tracks and the road courses and stuff like that, and actually get the season started. So looking forward to that.
All right, and then David Hall. I mean, we're chasing points a different way with a team championship. You want to mention that briefly?
Yeah, we did this a long time ago, and I was thinking about doing it again. And I actually used ChatGPT to set up a whole automated system. So we're we're doing it so that somebody who's retired or doesn't work during the summers doesn't have a huge advantage, but you're still going to have a little bit of an advantage if you run twice. So basically, we're taking points and either the best of 2 races or the best average of the top 2 if you run 3 or 4 races, essentially.
Finish
Um,
only, right?
yeah, finish only. Doesn't matter what split you're in. And we're also using our heavily top 5 and win based point system. So there's a couple of guys that I've already got 3 races scored, and I think John, who's had like a win and a top 3, is still ahead of me in points. So it's going to be just interesting to see how that plays out. But it's good for us to just follow it internally, and instead of externally, and not uh, be so worried about competing with the 5,000 I rating person who's in Division 3.
We're competing amongst the 12 of us, the 15 of us, or however many
Yeah,
there are, and we're going to have a Tifosi Cup. We're going to have a trophy, and we're thinking about like putting the winner's name on it, and then every year that whoever wins the next one, it has to be shipped to the next winner, and then they get their
correct.
name on it.
Yeah, and Donnie's already got a pretty good design worked up. He's shown it to a couple of us, we'll go with that option.
Is there a tariff on if it has to come to Canada?
Maybe.
We're just gonna take a picture of it and let you look at it.
Damn it.
Okay, then William Westbrook, your final thought?
Yeah, just looking forward to Mick. I think pre-qual opens this weekend, so it's been. I mean, I understand why they do the long bit of time between the races, but man, I've been looking forward to getting back in. Especially since really all over the past 3 months, all I've gotten to do is my 2 league races at the most normally. So looking forward to getting back into an endurance race and racing with Brad and Will, and hopefully we can bring it home a little bit better than we did at the 24.
All right, my final thought is come see me on TikTok, guys. If you're not on TikTok because of China, that's no longer a reason. This is American-owned company now. Okay, the algorithm is American based. They got rid of the Chinese algorithm. So whatever reason you had not to get this app and not be involved in TikTok, throw that out the window and come join us. There's a lot of good sim racers streaming on TikTok. It's actually a great platform for sim racing. So get over there, join us. We're having a lot of fun. Look, I kind of use it as I'm documenting my race. I'm letting people see the good and the bad. You know, me wrecking out, me looking like an ass, me looking like a clown. You can watch it, man. You can watch me wreck, and in all my glory. So, yeah, come out and check it out. And with that, we'll see you on the track.